You're seconds away from being born as you gain consciousness for the first time. You're clawing your way through the scales of your egg, surrounded by cold stone and complete darkness. After a few short minutes of effort, you emerge from your egg. As you might have guessed at this point, you are a dragon. Unfortunately, life as a dragon isn't just hoarding gold and torching villages, especially at such an early stage of your life. It actually sort of sucks. So let's start from the beginning, shall we? You enter the world in a sorry state, slimy, weak, and completely at the mercy of your surroundings. Dragon hatchlings aren't known for their tenacity or power. In fact, at this point, you're closer to a winged and sharp-toothed calf or foal. Now, assuming your mother is still around, you'll be lucky enough to get a few extra years of protection. She'll even help you find food and protect you from any potential predators, of which there are many considering how helpless you are. You'd think dragon parents would be noble, wise, and caring creatures, like most mothers in nature, but sometimes they can be completely indifferent to their offspring. In fact, you'd be very unfortunate if you were born with siblings. Your mother won't be making sure that everyone gets their fair share of food, so there's a decent chance that you'll starve to death before even reaching adolescence. Now, it's also possible that your mother isn't around anymore, for whatever reason. So you'll have to learn how to hunt. And you have to learn it fast, because nature is as cruel to you as it is to everyone else. You may have wings, but that doesn't mean you know how to use them right off the bat. And dragons aren't known for their quick feet, which makes your life as a carnivore even more difficult. You could draw a comparison between a human child learning how to walk and a dragon learning how to fly. You'll fall for hours before realizing your wings don't have the strength to pick you up. The most you can hope for is being able to glide, however useful that may be. You find yourself grounded, using your strength and instincts to hunt small creatures, but the bigger, stronger beasts won't wait for you to catch up. Survival is a constant struggle, at least while you're still growing. Breathing fire is a natural trait for dragons, but similar to how speaking works with humans, you'll need some time to master that ability. In other words, right now, you're a dangerous wildfire hazard. One careless flaming belch after a meal and you'll be surrounded by raging flames. And if your mountain home was anywhere near a forest, that would seal your fate. Now, dragons are immune to regular fire, but the animals in your vicinity aren't. You may survive without a scratch, but finding food will become an even more time-consuming and difficult task. You could roast a whole forest, but the scorched earth won't yield anything good to eat. You'll fight other creatures, some smaller, some stronger. The earth may seem like your domain, but the mountain lions, wolves, and bears have ruled it long before you came around. Even worse, humans will soon become aware of your presence, as they always do. As you grow and mature, you'll need more food to sustain yourself. Eventually, small birds and rabbits won't be enough. So unless you figure out how to fly by that time, you'll need to face more dangerous predators on the ground. You're nowhere near agile enough to fight a wolf, nor can you handle a bear pouncing on you. You're also very restricted in your fire breathing if your home is close to a forest. This problem will only get worse with time, so it'll be in your best interest to master the use of your wings. But let's talk about how quickly humans find out about you. They are nothing if not persistent. From the earliest days, myths about dragons are woven into their cultures. The bigger you are, the easier you'll be to notice. Every time you so much as stir from your den, there are tales of your presence spreading like wildfire. Pun intended. Even if the humans haven't seen you yet, some are already convinced you're out there. Humans and dragons have been at odds since the dawn of time. The Babylonians spoke of storm god Marduk slaying Tiamat in a battle that split the heavens and the earth. For them, Tiamat wasn't just a dragon. She was a primordial force of chaos that had to be defeated for order to emerge. And in the Norse mythology, we see Fafnir, a dwarf who is consumed by greed and transformed into a dragon, indicating that humanity has always associated dragons with negative traits. In your case, you're living in medieval Europe, where fighting you is a true test of valor for anyone brave enough. Once you've been spotted and recognized as a dragon, you can expect a constant stream of knights in plate armor coming for your head, accompanied by bards who will record their heroic feats. You do have one advantage over them. The heat of your flames is far higher than the melting point of plate armor. And as you'll come to learn, traditional weapons don't deal any serious damage to you. By the time you've reached adulthood, you're a force to be reckoned with. You're now adept at flying, having marked your territory thoroughly. Most sensible humans and predators leave you to your own devices, though eventually, you'll feel the urge to hoard gold and various other treasures. It's in your blood, or so the legends go. In Greek mythology, dragons were originally sent by the gods to guard treasures. Whether it's the golden apples in the Garden of the Hesperides or the golden fleece guarded by a dragon, there's a reason dragons are so closely linked to wealth. You too will feel the temptation to hoard. You begin by collecting trinkets from would-be heroes, and over time, you may begin raiding villages for shiny objects, jewelry, coins, swords. Gradually, you go even further, plundering entire kingdoms to fill your lair with gold and precious stones. Once you've stored enough treasures to quell your desires, you'll start sleeping. And when you sleep, you slumber deeply. For years. For decades. For centuries. If left untouched, you might slumber for so long that the world around you changes entirely. The animals that once feared approaching will forget about you and return. Humanity will rebuild and pass down stories of the terrible beasts that once terrorized their ancestors. An especially brave and foolish party of adventurers may decide that your home is their ticket to a life of luxury. After all, there's been no sightings of any dragons for as long as they've lived, so you must be a myth. They'll enter the mountain that serves as your resting place and inevitably disturb your sleep. You give them the expected reaction to seeing robbers in your home, which is burning them to ash. However, instead of returning to your slumber, you decide to return the favor and intrude on the humans for a change. You fly out of your den, surprised by how overgrown the outside has become. The wooden huts you remember are now replaced with rows of stone houses, with smoke billowing out of their chimneys. You've grown significantly, even in your sleep. Your wings now blot out the sun for the people below. It doesn't take long for them to notice you and run for their lives. But you're faster. The news spreads fast to the nearby lords. They remember listening to their grandparents describing a beast like you. Their oldest stewards have been telling stories about you for as long as they've lived, so they assemble their armies and head toward you. Now you're at a crossroads. You either accept their challenge and fight them, where their only chance of winning is tiring you out or getting lucky with a ballista shot, or you take off into the sky, abandoning your home and looking for somewhere you can start anew, maybe even lay some eggs to keep your legacy alive. As you might have guessed by now, dragons aren't particularly adventurous. They're not known to live on the move, preferring to stay in their original homes until the end of time. So you face their armies head on, decimating hundreds, thousands of soldiers. Their swords bounce off your scales, their arrows never leave a mark, and their numbers mean nothing to you. But as the battle wages on, an arrow or two manages to wedge itself in your wings. A sword gets stuck under your claws and digs deeper into your limbs, and a stray shot from a catapult finds its mark in your eye. You're tired, and what's more important, injured. The waves of soldiers never stop marching, and you begin to cave in. Once you fall to the ground, it doesn't take much to finish you. A dozen men in plated armor dig their weapons anywhere they manage to stick, and it finally ends. Looking over your incredibly long life, what exactly have you managed to accomplish? What do you have to show for the hundreds of years you spent on this earth? All you've done is hoard treasures, eat, sleep, and terrorize your neighbors. It's safe to say that being born as a dragon sucks.